Once was a young boy named Danny. He was the son of a family of sheep farmers. For many years, the fighting and yelling between both parents was a struggle for him to deal with. While it was the dad's job to monitor the flock, Danny was raised to become the next shepherd of the village. Many of those years were spent training to herd and care for the flock. With his low persistence, he was constantly being berated by his dad because of his lack of responsibility. Fights between Danny and his dad would occur, causing him to run away from home often and struggle with his interpersonal relationships. He often spent that time causing trouble in the village as a way to make himself feel better about what he was dealing with. He started by causing a small amount of mischief, stealing sweets or toys from the markets. There were times when he would assault the other kids or deceive people into giving him what he wanted. As a result of his poor impulse control, Danny was caught. A couple of the villagers and children grouped up after being wronged by Danny. "Danny boy, what do you think you're doing?" an older man yelled. "You stole my candy, jerk," one of the kids exclaimed while reaching for him. After the small mob was done yelling at him, they brought Danny back to his father and reported the legal issues that Danny had gotten into. He had no awareness for how his actions impacted others. His dad would physically abuse him as punishment, forcing him into doing excessive labor with the sheep. Years passed by and Danny's parents are no longer around after a tragic wolf attack in the woods. He was now an adult shepherd, unaware that the whole village refuses to trust or believe anything he says. Despite all the wrong he had caused to the village and his parents, there was a lack of remorse. He didn't believe any of his actions to the present were a problem, but only because it worked out for him and no one else. As an adult, his low harm avoidance resulted in manipulation, having fun at the expense of others. He didn't care for what happened to anyone else as long as he was happy. Many of the sheep were wary, or he would even avoid Danny as he approached them. When he wasn't being cruel to the sheep, he was more than willing to cause issues in the village. While Danny was used to many of his days involving mischievous deeds and occasionally caring for the sheep, a creature lurked in the shadows of the woods. The shepherd decided to stroll into the village, focused on making a laugh or two for himself. Danny spent a couple of hours in the village. He went from his usual antics of stealing to vandalism. It wasn't until the villagers caught on to his actions did they chase him off again towards his land. Danny was all smiles from his fun until he noticed there was sheep missing. He was confused as he was certain there were more sheep present when he left. After investigating, he followed a trail that led into the woods. Danny was walking for some time until he was greeted with the yellow eyes and snarling of the creature that stole the sheep. It was a wolf. Immediately feeling fear in his body rising, he went straight for the village. The wolf chased him, the shepherd screaming out for help as he was chased. Danny had no disregard for the safety of the villagers and led the wolf to them. "Help! Please, a wolf is near. It killed my sheep and it was going to kill me." Because of his aggressiveness towards the villagers, their view of him was that he was an awful liar and troublemaker. One of the other adults in the village looked at him puzzled, as there was no creature behind him. A couple of the villagers started getting annoyed, remembering Danny's previous behavior. "Is this another trick? We remember those fake wolf calls you like to do." "Yeah, you're just a big liar. No one cares. Go tend to your flock already." Danny was confused and angry with them. He began to yell back, "The wolf stole the sheep. You need to protect them too. You need them as much as I do." Tears welled up in his eyes as he tried to tell the people to help him, but they were reluctant. While the idea of losing the sheep was bad, they struggled to believe him. He couldn't do anything except go home and hope things wouldn't get any worse for him. Over the span of a couple weeks, the flock of sheep began to diminish as the wolf picked them off. He ignored the screams of the animals when they got attacked and let his high novelty-seeking behaviors take place while the wolf was busy. He only wanted to feel good about himself, his lack of empathy refusing to accept responsibility. Despite the many years he had spent growing up near the village, he never formed any meaningful relationships. When he was a shepherd without a flock, he lived alone in his shack, only going out to steal and vandalize the town as his own pleasure. As a result of his poor performance as a shepherd, the village eventually had a replacement. While Danny had no responsibilities anymore, the villagers let him steal enough to keep himself alive. But as soon as his poor judgment caused trouble, he would be chased out. He was known as a little shepherd boy, but now grew up to be a selfish, petty thief.